Bitcoin is dumping down to $94,600, and don't be afraid because this dump is fueled by the S&P 500 falling 22 basis points. But you can see that on the 15-minute time frame, we do have some sort of a promising bullish hammer reversal candle. So hopefully in the upcoming few minutes, we can see a dead cat bounce back towards the upside. But in today's video, we're going to be discussing if this dump or the current price action for Bitcoin is concerning, and are we going to head to new lows? Is the ascending triangle now invalidated? And is the scenario of the Wyckoff reaccumulation pattern going to be the one in play where Bitcoin dumps below $89,000? So if you want to find out about those things, make sure to stay tuned until the end of today's video. Destroy the like button, crypto kids, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any single Bitcoin and cryptocurrency alpha. With that said, I'm your host, Crypto Kid, and let's jump into the Bitcoin price analysis. Now, obviously, this small dump that we're seeing is not too good at all. And if we do confirm this breakdown on the daily time frame, which will happen if the price closes below $96,200 within the upcoming 8 hours and 45 minutes, there is going to be an increased likelihood that scenario B, which was the statistically more likely scenario that we discussed in previous videos, of which where Bitcoin comes down below $89,000, triggers liquidations, collects the liquidity below the prior swing low, and then continues towards the upside. The only issue with this scenario is because I don't mind it too much. It just gives us more time to accumulate Bitcoin, and it's just a better time to consolidate and accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. But obviously, with that consolidation comes boredom and lack of dopamine and lack of adrenaline. So the space gets boring and nothing too much happens. That is the only downside to Bitcoin coming down below 89. And of course, it would also trigger a huge altcoin sell-off, like a massive, massive altcoin sell-off. So let's hope that that won't happen. But unfortunately, that looks like the situation where if we cannot hold this line of support, Bitcoin will likely come down to the 89K level, collect liquidity, potentially go a little bit lower, and then start pushing back towards the upside. So in that event, be prepared to buy as many altcoins as possible. Be prepared to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible, because don't forget that the macro scenario says that we should be pumping to around $180,000 before the end of the bull market, which will likely happen in sometime in October or November. Even if you do see a breakdown into the 80s once again, that's completely okay. Because as soon as we're out of base 4, the final base of this Bitcoin parabola, once we pump above $109,000 with a confirmation, then that is going to indicate a very high likelihood that Bitcoin pumps to around 180 to top out, and then start the Bitcoin bull market or start some sort of consolidation before we end up going into a bear market in 2026. That is my personal prediction. Of course, this doesn't include a potential super cycle theory where we get a Bitcoin strategic reserve and countries start adopting it. You don't know when that is going to happen, so I'm not going to comment on it too much. But if we forget about all the fundamentals, then this is the scenario we should be seeing at the end. So make sure to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. That is what I could tell you, because that is what I personally do. But regardless, I know this consolidation has been 4 months already and it's been super, super boring. But regardless, during this consolidation period, even though that the price hasn't really done too much, you've added $160 billion into the realized cap of Bitcoin. That shows you, even though that the price hasn't pumped or dumped significantly, you've still added a new 160 billion worth of capital into Bitcoin, which is a whopping 22% increase in net new money. So when you look into if people are selling or are they distributing or are they accumulating Bitcoin, well, obviously there is a clear net 22% accumulation from new buyers, which I think is fantastic. Right? And given the fact that only institutional portfolio allocation is sitting at 1.2%, we're expecting this to be 4 to 5%. Larry Fink, the head of the largest institution in the world, where they manage over $15 trillion in AUM, they said that they're talking to people, which all of these companies and all of these different banks, they want to have an increased allocation of anywhere between 4 to 5%. That would be a 4 to 5x from where we are currently. And that alone will push Bitcoin to astronomical levels. Then you look into the price of gold. Gold is sitting very nicely over $2,900 per ounce, which is unbelievable. When you overlay the price of Bitcoin to the price of gold, you can see that they match up very nicely. Right, I think this is also another very clear indication that Bitcoin will eventually keep pumping, but there could be another increase in consolidation. There could be that minor liquidity grab down at $89,000 or a little bit below before we continue pushing to the upside. But like I said in the beginning of this video, the main message is that the macro looks tremendously bullish for Bitcoin. Michael Saylor bought another 20,000 Bitcoin worth $2 billion today, taking their net portfolio all the way up to almost $50 billion. This is not updated yet, but when it does tomorrow, it is going to show hopefully a $50 billion Bitcoin portfolio. I think MicroStrategy is looking incredibly bullish. If you can buy US stocks, if I could, I would personally definitely go ahead and add MicroStrategy into my personal allocation. But that is pretty much it. I think we've covered everything that I wanted to talk about. An update on Bybit. Bybit is completely fine. They're back to one-to-one reserves, which is beautiful. Ethereum is dumping obviously to 2.6K. If you want to find out more in-depth Ethereum analysis, then you can watch the latest Moonshow by going over to the Moonshow channel. But guys and girls, with that said, that is a very, very, very quick update on everything that happened in Bitcoin in the past 24 hours and why you shouldn't be panicking. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to destroy the like button. And with that said, I'll see you all on the update tomorrow morning. Take care. And as always, bye-bye.